The Eagles now have Myles Garrett on the roster, and we about to construct this draft based on having Myles Garrett.
It ain't our ball. It ain't our ball. It ain't our ball. It's our ball, ain't it? It's our ball. Hey!
Welcome back to the Casual GM YouTube channel. Today we're back with another mock draft. Today's mock draft is going to be for the Philadelphia Eagles, the current NFL Super Bowl champions. Last offseason, the Eagles really went out and made some big moves to improve this team. They found linebacker Zach Bond. They went out and got Saquon Barkley, stole him from the Giants for relatively cheap, if you're asking me. Jalen Hurts came back, was a way better quarterback this year, I think, than last year. He didn't have to do as much this year than he did last year, especially because the offensive line played better. The defense played way, way better. They went out and got Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. Kobe Dean played really well until he got hurt. The pass rush was better this year, I think, than last year. Overall, as a team, they were just way, way more complete, way more in tune this year, offense and defense. And really, like, they were the favorites, if you ask me, going into the playoffs. They were the most complete team. They had big weapons on both ends. Like, it was a no-brainer. But as we're going to do this mock draft, we're going to, like I do always, we're going to do two mock drafts. One draft, we're going to do no trades. Another draft, we're going to do trades. And we're going to be trying to just improve the Eagles this year. They're in a really good spot compared to a lot of other teams, especially a lot of teams that win Super Bowls. A lot of teams, when they win Super Bowls, they struggled the next year and the year after because they had to break up and lose a bunch of pieces. To me, the Eagles are in a really good spot, especially on the defense side, because they really, the moves they made last offseason were a lot of young guys. It was through the draft, especially on the defense side of the ball. Getting Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, like, those are guys that's going to be with you for the next 5 years, 6 years until their contract is up. Then you got Jalen Carter, another young guy from Georgia. This was his second year, I think. I think he was a rookie last year. Then you got Nolan Smith, another guy from Georgia. They love the Georgia players, but another young defensive guy that played really well this year that they don't have to pay anytime soon. So I think they have a lot of flexibility this year in free agency because they do have to bring back some guys. I want to look at some of the free agents they have right now. Some of the key free agents they have are going to be Zach Bond, Mekhi Becton, who plays really well. He's more of a run blocking offensive lineman, so I don't know if they're going to prioritize bringing him back or not. He had Orion Burks, who stepped in really good after Kobe Dean went down. You got Kenneth Gainwell, who's a good secondary back to Saquon Barkley. I think they'll let him walk, maybe pick up a running back in this draft, because this is one of the deeper running back classes. You got Brandon Graham, who I think is retiring this year, so obviously he's not coming back. Some other big names will be Avonte Maddox, Isaiah Rodgers, Josh Sweat is definitely a huge name, and then Milton Williams. I think Milton Williams, Zach Bond, and Josh Sweat, those are the three biggest names that they have to bring back. I would say at least two of those guys. In the draft, I would prioritize picking up a corner, maybe, definitely maybe another pass rusher, and a running back. This is it. Like I said earlier, this is a 5-round mock draft. Let's enter the draft and see some of the picks that they have. All right, let's start this draft. All right, the Eagles. The Eagles are looking like they're in a real good position. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks in the top 5 rounds of this draft. So not only are they already a young team, at least defensively, they have a lot of picks to replace some of these players that they're going to probably lose in free agency, which many teams that win championships don't have. So they start in the first round. They have the 32nd pick. Let me see. Like I said, the first draft, there's going to be no trades. Their top 4 positions of need, according to PFF, are wide receiver, offensive guard, edge rusher, and cornerback. And between you got Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. I think those are your top 2 corners next year. I mean, Jahad Barron is sitting right here. I mean, that's the thing. The Eagles play a lot of zone coverage. Jahad Barron should be a really good zone corner. He's not a big corner, so he played a lot of zone there in Texas. I think that's probably his best. I don't think he's as good as a man corner. So they could pick up him. You got Trey Amos, Shavon Revell, who's He's probably one of the more talented cornerbacks in this draft from East Carolina, but he is coming off an injury. I think an ACL injury. They got Donovan Ezraku available to place the edge rusher. DJ Sanders. I don't really think they need interior because they got Jalen Carter and they got the Davis kid they took from Georgia. Another young defensive guy who played really well this year. Landon Jackson, that's somebody who I could really see. He played really well at the Senior Bowl, made a lot of big plays. I do think they pick up another wide receiver. Obviously, I wouldn't go wide receiver in the first round if I was them. Um, they traded for the wide receiver from Washington. Can't remember his name right now, but I think he caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know if they're gonna bring him back or let him walk or whatever. I don't know if he's a free agent or not. So I don't really see them picking up wide receiver until maybe third, fourth round, unless there's just a guy on the board they can't pass up on. JT Timalu. The 32nd pick, they got a lot of options. That's why I think it's gonna be really fun in the second draft where we could trade players because they don't have to press for a player. They could trade back and just get the right player they want and collect assets for the future when you're gonna have to pay guys next year. So you might want some more picks next year. So yeah. Like I said, top guys available right now: Jahad Barron, Costa Loveland, Trey Amos, Siobhan Vale, Donovan Ezraku. They got a 64th pick after this, so I don't think there's going to be many corners, at least not many top corners available at 64. There may still be some pass rushers. So I think you take Jahad Barron here, solidify that secondary. You got three young guys you could build around. Three, I mean, you hit on two young guys last year. I think hitting on the third guy isn't going to be difficult. So I take Jahad Barron from Texas here at the 32nd pick in the first round draft. All right, back on the board in the second round with pick 64, Jalen Walker from Georgia here. The Eagles love those Georgia players. Jalen Walker is a very talented linebacker, very raw linebacker that needs a lot of work done with him. But he could have a lot of great upside, and it fits the Eagles. Like it's a slam dunk pick right here that I can really see the Eagles doing because they need a linebacker. I think because you don't know how Nakobe Dean is gonna come back from his injury. I don't know how many more years he got left on his contract. He's a Georgia player. They love the Georgia players for some reason, but it works out for him, so you can't really knock it. Yeah, some of the other players here are Cameron Williams, tackle. I can see them taking him. He's another project kind of guy. At the tackle position, you got Chris Paul Jr., Sebastian Castro, Alfred Collins, Travion Henderson, Quinshawn Judkins. I did say they need running back, and Travion Henderson and Quinshawn Judkins could definitely go here. But I mean, like PFF has Jalen Walker ranked 52. This is a 64th pick, so value wise, it's a good pick. I feel like this is just such an obvious pick that I'm not going to pass up on it. So with the 64th pick in the second round, I have the Eagles taking Jalen Walker, linebacker from Georgia. I don't know if he's going to fall that far this year's draft. I think he's too much of a talent to fall that far. So, but hey, in this mock draft, he fell that far, and we taking him. All right, we're back on the board here at 96. Harold Fenton Jr. is available. I really like him. I don't know the details on Dallas Goedert's contract, but I mean, adding another tight end, another explosive weapon like him, isn't that bad. He's a big target. He's kind of like on the shorter side for tight ends, but he's still a very athletic player. Had one of the greatest tight end seasons we've seen in a while in college this year for Bowling Green. Some other players available. You got Melo Dotson, cornerback. They already took cornerback. I like RJ Harvey. He had a very productive year at UCF. Let's look how many yards he had this year. Yeah, he had 89.5 rushing grade, 84.7 overall grade, had almost 1,600 rushing yards, had 22 touchdowns. I mean, putting this guy next to Saquon Barkley, you could be looking at one of the best running back duos in the league very easily. So as much as I would love to take Harold Fenner Jr., I think I think having two running backs is just the way the league is going. Having two really good running backs, having a Saquon Barkley and a really good secondary running back just makes it everything OD for them. So I think we're gonna let's look at some of these other players. But right now, I'm leaning towards RJ Harvey here with the 96 pick. Kobe Bryant, really good corner, but we already took corner. I don't really think they need a safety. I don't think CJ Gardner, he's not a free agent. Cooper Jean can kind of play him and Jody Barron, who we just took. I think they're gonna be able to switch between outside and inside. I think they can play some safety if you need them. They still got Blankenship. So I don't really think they need safety. They do need edge right here. David Walker from Central Arkansas is a really good player. Yeah, Baron Sorrell. Their next pick is 128. There might be more running backs available at 128, but it may just maybe they just prioritize bringing back their edge rushers in free agency, and they don't draft the edge in this draft at least. Because the way this draft is trending, there's not much edge rush talent still available. You got Ashton Gillette from Louisville. You got some players, but I think RJ Harvey. I just don't think you could pass up on a guy like that. He's ranked 99 on PFF. This pick 96, so it's not too much of an overdraft. Yeah, I think we got RJ Harvey here from UCF. I think him and Saquon Barkley is going to be one of the more explosive running back duos in the league. And I just think it fits where the NFL is going with having multiple running backs, not depending on one big name, high paid running back to lead your team in the rushing side. Ooh, I see a player I really like right here. All right, we're back on the board at 128. And so far, the Eagles have taken Jahad Barron, cornerback from Texas, Jalen Walker, linebacker from Georgia, and RJ Harvey, running back from UCF. All right, back on the board. Riley Leonard's the top player. They're not taking a quarterback. I don't see them moving off Jalen Hurts for a while. Antoine Powell Riley. I really like him from Virginia Tech. I think he could be a sneaky player in this draft. I think he's going to be really good at the next level. He had some really good years at Virginia Tech. Let's look at his production. This year he had 14 sacks. Last year he had 10 sacks. I think he's going to be a sneaky player. The Eagles do need edge rusher. Let's see. This is the 4th round. This is somewhere he could go. He's ranked 127. This is pick 128. So it's not an overdraft at all. You got Alua Oladejo, edge rusher from UCLA. He looked really good at the Senior Bowl, made some plays, especially in the game. He got some pressure on the quarterback. You got Tyler Batty from BYU. So the draft really did shake out pretty well right here. I think some really good edge rushers are available right here. It's between, to me, I don't know. I think it's between Tyler Batty and Antoine Powell Riley. But I really like Antoine Powell Riley. Let's look at Tyler Batty's production real quick. Yeah, he only had 2 sacks this year, 6 sacks last year, 3 is in 2022. Pass rush grade is 75, run defense 74. I mean, he shows flashes, especially I think he also was a good player at the Senior Bowl. He either played at the Senior Bowl or Shrine Bowl. I can't exactly remember, but he definitely made plays, definitely stood out. I think Antoine Powell's production during the actual season was very impressive. So I don't think I'm gonna go with Tyler Batty. Then you got Oladejo, 7 sacks this year, only 1 2023 and 2022. I think he used to be a linebacker, so I think that's why he probably has less sacks. So he's still kind of raw player. I think he's kind of undersized for Ed. Now he's 6'3", 250. He was a really big linebacker. That's all he was. Yeah. Now I think Antoine Powell Riley he has the production. They need an edge rusher. I really like him. I think he's gonna be really good. So right here at 128, we're gonna go Antoine Powell Riley from Virginia Tech. All right, so we taking cornerback, we taking edge rusher. They got a running back, they got linebacker. Now all we need is guard and wide receiver. Let's see who's available right now. Top two players available quarterbacks. You got Nick Nash, wide receiver, big body wide receiver. Fits what the Eagles like to do. I mean, he had a really great year this year. He used to play quarterback. Um, really, I think he came runner up to winning what was it, the Blitnikoff Award? I think that's the wide receiver award or whatever. On the Travis Hunter one. I think that's the name of it. I can't remember, but he came out like runner up to that. He's the top. It seems like the top and only wide receiver that's available right now. We got Antoine Wells Jr., who I really like from Ole Miss, but he's on 183rd rank, so that would be kind of overdraft. He could still be there. Yeah, the Eagles picked 161, 165, and 168 in the fifth round. So in the fifth round, the Eagles could really like, if they draft well, could really like steal this draft and have the best draft this year. On top of having the best season. So I think right here we can go Nick Nash. I think that's obvious. They need a wide receiver 3. He's a big body wide receiver. I think you can move on Smith a little bit more inside since he's such a great route runner. If Nash can't if Nash isn't the greatest route runner and stuff, because I don't think he's as polished, so he might just be an outside wide receiver. So yeah. Are we back here at 165? They need guard. You got Connor Kobe here. Yeah, Jonah Monahan. He's a center though. He probably can play some guard. You got Emory Jones Jr. I think we just stack up with offensive linemen these next 2 picks. I think you just go with the best available. So we're gonna go Connor Kobe from Iowa. Now pick 168. You back up on the board. Probably go tackle here to me. Could go court. I don't think they go cornerback again. I think you just go Emory Jones Jr. from LSU. John Williams from Cincinnati. I don't know. Let's see. Who else? They could go tight end here and take Caden Prescorn from Mississippi, from Ole Miss. I don't know what to say sometimes. Sometimes I say Mississippi, sometimes I just say Ole Miss. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the players. Johnny Cornelius is a very interesting player. He has a lot of upside if it developed right. I think, like I said, best available, we're going to go Emory Jones Jr. from LSU for pick 168, which is the last pick of this first draft. All right, we got our grade right now. They're saying we should have took Harold Fenner Jr. over RJ Harvey, which I don't agree with, but I can see why. Like Harold Fenner Jr. was definitely the pick I would have went with if RJ Harvey probably wasn't there. I think it would have made sense, considering I don't know Dallas got a contract and like he fits something they could use. Like they have the luxury that many teams don't have, which is they don't have to draft based off need because they don't really have a bunch of big needs. They can like just draft players for what the Eagles do really well is drafting the replacement for their guys that are already good. That's why you could have like they have multiple guys that they let walk and just fill the place and fill that place with younger guys that they drafted, and it worked out for them this year. So the grade he got was a B plus. We finished in the top 39% of drafts. In this draft, we took Jahad Barron with the first round pick. Then we took Jalen Walker in the second round, linebacker from Georgia. Then we took RJ Harvey, running back from UCF. Edge rusher in the fourth round, we took Antoine Powell Ryland. Fifth round, we took wide receiver Nick Nash from San Jose State. Fifth round, again, we took Connor Kobe, guard from Iowa. And then fifth round, we took Emory Jones Jr., tackle from LSU. All right, that'll do it for the first draft right here. We about to move on to the second draft. Let me know how y'all feel about this first draft, what I should have did, who I should have drafted, who should not have drafted, some of the other players you maybe would have went with over the guys I took. And yeah, let's get into the second draft where we make some trades. All right, we're back here in the second round. Let's enter this draft. And I took a break to think, and I think we're going to do something really big with this on first pick since this is the draft that we're doing trades with. One of the rumored players, one of the top players on the trade block is Myles Garrett. There has been some rumors floating around that the Eagles could go get him. So I'll be like, since we had a really good first draft because the Eagles have a lot of picks. I don't think the draft is going to shake out really much different if we do some trades in this draft. We just trade back and forward and stuff. So I think why not actually make a trade and go get a big name player? I say we go trade for Myles Garrett in this draft and then draft the rest of the picks surrounding that pickup for the Eagles. All right, let's start the draft. So when we get our pick, we're gonna trade with the Browns for Myles Garrett. I'm thinking obviously this year's first round pick. I think we should give him probably 2 5th rounders this year. I don't know what Myles Garrett is really gonna go for. Do you think? I want to know from y'all. Do y'all think he goes for multiple first round picks? You think he goes for like a first, a second, and a third? Because I'm thinking that's what we could do. We give him this year's first, next year's second, 2 5th rounders this year, and a third the next year. I'm thinking that's the package we're gonna send to him. This doesn't have to be super realistic. The first draft is probably going to be the most realistic draft that could happen. And right here, I think we hey, Nick Scorton is available right here. Good to draft him, but yeah, like I said, this is a draft with trades. This is a draft that's meant to be more so entertainment based with some realism in it. So we're gonna go make a trade for Myles Garrett right here. We're gonna trade away this 32nd pick. Let's see. Go to the Browns real quick. Cleveland Browns. All right, select the player for the Browns. And Browns on the AFC, Eagles in the NFC. So the Browns went and hold off on doing this trade because of the conferences or anything. So it makes some sense in that category, in that situation. I mean, there we go. Myles Garrett. Right, there we go, Myles Garrett, edge. That solves the edge rushing need for on the Eagles. I think the Eagles probably, if they pick up Myles Garrett, they obviously probably gonna let Josh Sweat walk and probably Milton Williams. I think they both walk. So I think that's gonna factor in who we draft after Myles Garrett on letting those two players walk. I mean, Josh Sweat and Milton Williams played really well, but getting a guy like Myles Garrett, I mean, that's a great replacement. Like, if you're not sure if you want to pay both those guys, you're sure you want to pay Myles Garrett. Like, he's already making a big contract, so you don't actually got to worry about paying him. And if you did have to, you know he's already worth it. He's won a DPOY, had a really great year last year. He wants to be in a winning situation. I think this could be back-to-back years where the Eagles go make that splash move in free agency. Last year they went and got Saquon Barkley. This year they go get Myles Garrett, try to repeat. I think it makes perfect sense for the Eagles at least. So we're giving them the 32nd pick. We're gonna give them our 5th-round pick, 168 and 160. I say 1. So we're gonna give them a later 5th and early 5th. So we give them that. Give them a 2nd-rounder next year, and then a 3rd-rounder in 2027 for Myles Garrett. And we're gonna go ahead and force this trade because I ain't got time to be fighting with the computer. All right, they're saying we gotta give up a player. Yes, we gotta give up. Do we gotta give up a player? Yeah, they're saying we gotta give up a player. Let's see. Let's give us some random player we got on the team. Yeah, I'm just gonna pick up a random guy off the team. All right, we forced that trade. We made that trade happen. All right, now we about to really get into the draft. The Eagles now have Myles Garrett on the roster, and we about to construct this draft based on having Myles Garrett. Right, let's resume the draft. So we saw the edge rusher need. Don't even know other edge rushers. Are we here on the board at pick 64? Derek Harmon. I really like Derek Harmon. He could be the perfect replacement for Milton Williams right here. That's a really good pickup right there. Right now, he probably leads. He's going to lead the board, and who we probably going to take? Darius Alexander, another interior D lineman that I really like from Toledo. Derek Harmon probably did it at a bigger level, so you would trust that he could probably do it at the NFL level better. But Darius Alexander, I think he's going to translate really, really well to the NFL. Yeah, Alfred Collins, Travion Henderson, so we could go running back here. I feel like earlier, the running back's going to be there later. I think Derek Harmon here from Oregon is the perfect Milton Williams replacement. Put him beside Jalen Carter and Davis. Solidify that interior again, the interior D lineman again, where you can switch off players and have them rotate out. I think Derek Harmon makes perfect sense here for the Eagles. So we're taking Derek Harmon with our first pick in the second round, pick 64. Well, only pick in the second round. Now the Eagles back on the board here at pick 96. Tate Ratledge from Georgia is here. Georgia players, man, I'm just telling you, man. I think the Eagles got to take at least one or two every draft. They need a guard, so I mean, Tate Ratledge right here is the clear pick. I mean, each draft shaking out where like the clear picks are lining up at the top. RJ Harvey's here. We took him last draft. I want to do something different, so even though real draft, I'm probably still take RJ Harvey. I think we do something different here. We got Kobe Bryant. I really like Kobe Bryant. They need cornerback. He looked really good. I think it was the Senior Bowl. He looked really good in practices and stuff. He's a long, big corner. If you have concerns about Cooper DeJean playing outside primarily, you put keep him on the inside. Use him like a nickel / safety corner. And you had Kobe Bryant play the outside, so that's somewhere you could do. That's something you could do. I think Tate Ratledge right here is the obvious pick. We just want to take him. Georgia player. They gotta take at least one every draft. Let's do it. All right, back on the board. Pick 128 in the fourth round. Jacob Parrish here, Kansas State cornerback. Again, the draft is shaking out what obvious pick is the best available player, which, I mean, hey, make the job easy for the Eagles. Antoine Powell Ryland. I mean, they could technically still go with get another edge rusher if they really want to. Because they like to rotate guys. They like to rotate a lot of their guys on that D line. So I think you just wait on edge rusher though. Quez Hunter, running back, I really like him. Kobe Hudson, Trevor Etienne, Shamar Turner. I think some running backs will be available later. Yeah, I already see no more cornerbacks available. Jacob Parrish right here, I think is the obvious answer. Kansas State, so that's what we're gonna go with. So we're just picking up players from positions of need. So we got corner. We address edge rusher with the trade from Myles Garrett. We got guard and Tate Ratledge from Georgia. You got the Georgia player that they always get. Now all you really need is a wide receiver or running back. Let's see. Yeah, Cal. I'm not going to even try to pronounce his last name, but from Rutgers, I heard some good things about him. You got Marcus Yarns from Delaware. He's a really nice running back. Oh, Bashul Tootin from Virginia Tech. Hey, let's look at his production, but his name stayed hit when I watch all these different shows and stuff and all these analysts. His name continues to pop up, especially when they talk about running backs. Had about almost 1,200 yards this year. Had it kind of down here last year, 875, but had a really great year in 2022 where he had almost 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns this year, 10 last year, 13 the year before. I don't think he's a big running back. Well, he's 5'11", 209, so he's a solid size running back. Let's see. Antoine Wells Jr., wide receiver, could be where to go. Look at the Rutgers running back statistics. Had a 77 overall grade this year, 92 last year. He almost had 1,300 yards last year, almost 1,300 yards this year. So the last 2 years, he's been really productive. 78 rushing grade, 13 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns. He's 5'9", 209, so he's a little bit on the smaller side. Let me think. Who should the Eagles go with right here? This would be. I might do some of these drafts over again after the combine just to see some of the times these guys run, because that could really sway who I would have chose right here. But right here, I'm gonna go with a guy that I know that I've heard a lot about, Bashu Tootin from Virginia Tech. That's who we're going with pick 165 in the 5th round. They're probably gonna say I should have took another running back that was a little higher up. All right, they said we did a great job with this draft. So they didn't have no suggestions for some players that we should have took that we didn't take. All right, so we got a B+ grade for. Let's just run down the players that we took. Then the grades they gave us for. So we took Derek Harmon in the 2nd round. Interior D lineman from Oregon, gave us a B+ grade for that. 3rd round we took Tate Ratledge, Georgia guard, A- grade for that. 4th round we took a cornerback, Jacob Parrish, A grade. Then in the 5th round we took Bashu Tootin. They give us a C- grade. I don't really care about that. We finished in the top 40% this draft, which makes sense. We took less players and stuff, but that Myles Garrett trade at the bottom is the real big piece of this draft. Like, the Eagles really set themselves up to repeat because they really didn't have to give up that much. Like, their team is so young, they're not really giving up no young players. They're probably gonna let some guys walk in for agency, picking up Myles Garrett, but you basically just replacing them with him. So I think you trade for Myles Garrett in the 1st round, and then you just structure the rest of your draft based off whatever you gave up in that trade, or whatever you're going to have to give up for agency wise, getting in a player like Myles Garrett. So that'll do it for this NFL mock draft. Let me know in the comments what y'all thought about these drafts. Which draft did you like better? Did y'all like the trade scenario with Myles Garrett? Would y'all have done it? Do y'all think that's fair compensation for Myles Garrett? And if y'all want to do any of these PFF mock drafts, I'm gonna drop the link down below in the description. I think the first 3 rounds are free, but you only get to do 1 draft a day. If you want to do these full 5, 7 round drafts, you have to pay a monthly subscription for them. So I am paying that subscription to put out these videos. So I would really appreciate if y'all like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, let's see y'all next video.
It ain't our ball. It ain't our ball. It ain't our ball. It's our ball, ain't it? It's our ball. Hey!